because we have already covered the Air Max 95s. Now it's their bigger brother's turn to steal the spotlight. Stay tuned. These are the famous Nike Air Max 97, truly a piece of sneakers history. Take a look. These were released, as the name also implies, in '97 and were designed by Christian Tresser, a former Reebok designer who then moved to Nike and designed these icons, and then to Adidas afterwards. His creation indeed looks very similar to the Air Max 95s, and if you want to watch the 95s review also, you can find the link in the description for it, and also here somewhere. Now I will make sure to cover the differences between the two, but mainly focus on the particularities of the 97s, and we will start with their looks. So appearance wise, their most famous design characteristic are the strips of materials sewed on top of each other, layer after layer, that kinda look similar to the also layered upper of the 95s, except these ones are inspired from Japanese bullet trains and ripples of water instead of human muscle fibers. I personally really like this colorway, but if you prefer something different, you have a lot to choose from, and you can also find them for women, big kids and toddlers. The main theme of this one is shades of grey, dark grey and black with bright yellow accents. Their curves resemble not only the ripples on the water's surface, but also the water's deepness, starting with light grey on the top with the laces, tongue and mesh upper, and slowly getting darker with the thin wavy strips until we reach the dark bottom with the mud guard, midsole and outsole. Interior is all black as stepping into the darkness. Branding wise, we can spot the Nike swoosh placed into a bright yellow pill on the tongue, resembling another pill piercing through the outsole, two more swooshes embroidered in the two windows on both sides, and one more carved into the midsole in the heel area. Air Max text is written on the heel pull loop, and the Nike logo and icons text is placed on the insole, because yes, this pair is an icon by now, right? And another Nike logo and swoosh hidden on the bottom of the insole that has two registered trademark symbols that is an older version of the logo paying tribute to this kick's origins. Now let's move back to our origins and talk materials. This pair is built using only synthetic materials, or put in other words, sustainable materials. The tongue is made from a soft malleable mesh and the upper from a more rigid but similar looking mesh that holds the synthetic strips mentioned earlier. The two black windows on the sides are also made from a textile mesh even more rigid than the upper, and the mud guards that surround the shoe are synthetic leather. Now I have to bring up the polyurethane midsole, which is one of the reasons this feels so rigid and a bit uncomfortable, but more on that when we discuss features. Now the outsole is made from carbon rubber, which is very durable and of course, most importantly, grip as well. You can now stop worrying that running on cement and concrete will eat your outsole fast. It's not the case here. Also, Nike did a great job with some of their sneakers with almost seamlessly blending the transition of the midsole to the outsole into the design that you could barely notice it, but it is also not the case here. Even if the midsoles and outsoles colors are very similar, the crossing from one to the other is very obvious, like some sneakers from the 90s. Pun intended. Moving forward, the whole interior is made using the same soft and plushy to the touch material that kinda invites you in without the need of any socks. I didn't try that, but you can, and let me know how it feels. In the padding department, these are generous, with thick soft padding in the tongue and more rigid one in the heel area, offering feel and support. Insole is quite special this time, from a denser foam featuring curves around the heel. And now, if you are curious if the upper layers are big pieces of material going all the way down to the midsole or just narrow individual strips, well, if not, I was. And of course, they are just narrow strips of material sewed on top of each other, which is a good thing from both a weight reduction standpoint and also a cost-effective one. Now, what I find really weird is how Nike chose to design the upper strips of materials, and more specifically, where the materials end, and that is at a random place on the interior side of the sneakers towards the forefoot. Not in the middle, but towards the front. Why not end them in the back, sewed under the heel pull loop? I am really really baffled by this. If you can think of a reason why this is the way it is, let me know in the comment section. While you do that, let's talk features. These were originally designed as performance running sneakers, so they should be able to still do that today. Although they are not as capable as some newly released running sneakers nowadays that are for sure more lightweight and also less rigid. One advantage that these have on those running kicks today is the presence of a full-length visible air sole unit that was a game changer in the industry back in the day. This one is actually composed of two air chambers with two different air pressures, a small one in the heel area built to absorb your stride shocks, and the second big one stretching all the way to the front. The compressed air unit here, like in all Nike Air sneakers, not only absorbs the shocks produced when landing on your feet, but also provides a bounce for the next running stride or jump while playing basketball or just a step while walking. And one more advantage of the air bubble is the lack of weight compared to using a squishy material, and durability while providing a similar effect of shock absorption, bounciness, and overall comfort. This was a description of Nike Air in a nutshell. One thing I assume and I'm afraid of is that the bright yellow bubble that pierces through the outsole is part of the main air unit in the midsole, and if you accidentally step on something sharp and puncture it, you will basically find yourself having a flat tire. I hope that will never happen. Now, the tongue is secured by the laces using a quite interesting solution, a loop from one piece of synthetic material that goes around the tongue and locks the laces in sets of two instead of one, as we are usually used to. This design also gives the laces a special flow. One great feature I find absolutely sexy is that the top three thin stripes are reflective, allowing the shoe to be seen in low light environments like running when it's dark out. Another one I find great are the flex grooves carved into the midfoot on the outsole, making the midsole malleable during running and also more comfortable while walking. Now, drum roll please. These feature not one but two pull loops to get them on. You can imagine how that made me feel, because I genuinely struggle with shoes that do not feature those. So we've got one on the tongue that is way too short to properly slide your finger through, and one in the heel area that is the right size, but even with a total of, let's say, 1.5 pull loops, you can still properly pull this on like a pro. Now, because mesh is the foundation in how the upper is built, offering not a great deal of ventilation because of its bulky build, but for sure it offers malleability, composure, and durability. Bear in mind that the mesh and synthetic leather construction make these kicks not suitable for rainy days. Last but not least, one of the features Nike mentioned is the removable arch supports for these, but the pair I'm holding came with nothing inside the box, except for the sneakers, of course. You can maybe purchase them separately. Let me know in the comment section if yours came with those removable tabs. I can clearly spot the place on the back of the insole in the arch area where you can place or remove an arch support tab, but it's empty for now. Okay, let's draw conclusions. One important thing you should know is that these are true to size, a bit snug at first, but they will loosen up in time to become the real size written on the box. Now, price-wise, these are notoriously expensive, one of the most expensive non-collab or limited edition sneakers in Nike's lineup, but those looking to keep their piggy bank unscathed, you can easily hunt them online for way less. For those planning to casual wear these 100% of the time, and that's probably 98% of you, you are right, because thanks to their design and also their variety of colorways, you can match this with most wardrobes and they will stay relevant for years to come. And also, as I have mentioned before, they can compare to the performance running sneakers of this day, so daily driving is the way to go. Overall, even if these are backed up by a history of more than 20 years of success, they are a bit rigid and not so friendly at first, and they need a break-in period for some, almost like the 95s, but for sure you can get used to them, and for sure they will hold up their shape and last for many years. Now, be sure to subscribe so that I can also last for many years. See you in the next one.
I give you sneakers.